short-run profit maximizing output level, explain whether short-run profit maximizing output level is perfectly competitive firm is always efficient, right? Always efficient. Now here, the key concept is what? Short-run profit maximizing output level. You have to prove that whether it is efficient or not. And they say always efficient, right? Okay, first we should know what is the profit maximizing output level. That you have to explain and you have to understand. I think you all know what is profit maximizing output level. What is the profit maximizing condition? MC should be equal to MR, right? MC should be equal to MR. Marginal cost should be equal to marginal revenue. Now look at the diagram. Here you can see at this point, MC equal MR, marginal cost equals marginal revenue. So this is what we call profit maximizing output level. Now I have placed here average total cost. That means cost to produce 1 unit of output. Average total cost means cost to produce 1 unit of output. You can see in this diagram, at this profit maximizing output level, average cost has been minimized. So when the average cost is minimized, we call it as production efficiency. The result of the efficiency is this. We discussed last day, what are the conditions for production efficiency. But remember, the outcome of the production efficiency is the firm should be able to produce a commodity at the minimum cost. So this is the result, average total cost percent result of the production efficiency. Now you can see here at this level, profit is maximized as well as production is efficient. Why? Because production is running at the minimum level of average total cost, right? So can you tell me please, what is this profit level? Here, what is the profit the firm earns here? Profit level, normal profit, right? Very good, normal profit. Okay, normal profit. That means, what's our conclusion? If a perfectly competitive firm earns a normal profit in short run, then the production is efficient. Right. Now, question asks, it is always happening. So you have to prove whether this condition is there in the other cases. Some asking some other questions. Please wait till I finish. I'll give the time to ask some other questions, right? So now we will discuss the question. Attention on the question, right? Other things I will discuss at the end of the class. Right, here you can see this normal profit is, therefore, when the firm earns normal profit, the production is efficient. We look at another kind of profit. Look at the same price of this product comes down to P0. Now the price is less. Price is P0. Now the profit maximizing output level is here. This is the profit maximizing condition, MC equal MR. Right? Now you can see, now at this output level, cost is not minimized. cost is not minimized. So the profit level earned by the firm, Sunny, the price is P naught. What is the profit level earned by the firm? The price is P naught. Yes, loss. It is a loss. That means negative economic profit. So when there is economic loss, that means when there is negative economic profit, remember, firm is not producing at the minimum point of average cost. So the production is not efficient. Production is not efficient. Got it? Right. Let's look at another situation. Assume price of this product is P2. If the price is P2, how is the profit level? How is the profit level if the price is P2? Yeah, message please. Economic profit. You can't say economic profit. We are talking about economic profit, but there are different types of economic profits now. If the price is P2, profit level is how much? Profit type is supernormal, abnormal. Yeah. Supernormal, abnormal. Now look at, when the price is P2, this is the profit maximizing point. Right? Then you can see again, cost is not minimized. See, average cost is not minimized. Now you can understand, when you're comparing different types of profit in perfect comparison in short run, only the normal profit is efficient. Loss and supernormal profits are not efficient. This is an indirect action. Really, of course, we don't discuss this in the theory. Right? Even I have not given this graph. We have discussed this graph, but for different other purposes. But this idea we didn't discuss in the class even. This is not in the theory, but this is an indirect idea that you have to identify. When a perfectly competitive firm earns normal profit in short run, then the production is efficient. But a perfectly competitive firm earns supernormal profit or loss, production is not efficient. Production is not efficient. Right. Write down. Short-run profit of a perfectly competitive firm is not always efficient. Is not always efficient. It can be further explained. It can be further explained using the diagram given below. Using the diagram given below. It can be further explained using the diagram given below. Right, draw the diagram. Draw the diagram. Right, okay. Write down. According to the above diagram, according to the above diagram, there is a normal profit when the price is P1. When the price is P1. Equilibrium quantity is equilibrium quantity is equilibrium quantity is Q1 at P1. Q1 at P1. Q1 is at the minimum level of Q1 is at the minimum level of average total cost. Average total cost. Therefore, Q1 is efficient. Q1 is efficient. This means the output at the normal profit is efficient. Is efficient. Nipara. Nipara. Profit maximizing output level is profit maximizing output level is P naught. When the price is, profit maximizing output level is Q naught, when the price is P naught. I'm repeating it. Profit maximizing output level is Q naught when the price is P naught. There is a loss at Q naught. Average total cost is not minimized. Average total cost is not minimized at Q naught. Therefore, Q naught is not efficient. Therefore, Q naught is not efficient. This means output level at negative economic profit. Output level at negative economic profit is inefficient. Nifara. Profit maximizing output level is Q2 at P2. There is a supernormal profit. There is a supernormal profit within bracket positive economic profit. At P2. Q2 is not at the minimum level of average total cost. This means Q2 is also not efficient. Q2 is also not efficient. This means output level at supernormal profit. Output level at supernormal profit is also not efficient. Is also not efficient. In conclusion, output level at normal profit is efficient, while output levels at supernormal profit and loss are inefficient. Right. Prashna Kala Dina, when you are sending me the questions, can you send it to my this? That means the number that I am talking. Right? I have two numbers. That means I have logged with two devices. One device, the other one. Send me the message to the number that I'm talking. Question the question. Yes. Now we know that I'm repeating this question. In the long run, a perfectly competitive firm earns only normal profit. That's a different issue because we know it, right? So in the long run, therefore, definitely a perfectly competitive firm produce an efficient output. Because in the long run, there is only what? Normal profit. There's only what? Normal profit, right? But in short run, there are normal profit, supernormal and loss. So in short run, only the normal profit is efficient. In the long run, normal profit, but in the long run, there is only normal profit. It's a good question, yes. Anivagi Prashneva. So Prashna Karati Bama me paper ekamang iwara karna. Have extra class ekadala paper iwara karna. Question number 9 and 10 question එක ඉච්චර හිතන්න එපා. ඒක class එක සාමාන්‍යයෙන් ශ්‍රී ලංකන් economic question එකනේ. ඒක ශ්‍රී ලංකන් economy නේ. ඒ ගැන කිසිම trust එකක් තියන්න බෑ. ඒ කියන්නේ trust එකක් තියන්න එපා. කිසි කෙනෙක් මගේ advice එක තමයි don't get ready for the last section, section number 10. But when you prepare a paper, normally we put section number 10 also. But don't get ready for that because you can't keep a trust on the Sri Lankan economic action because you can't keep a trust on the Sri Lankan economy. Right? Isa? මම ඒක ටච් කරන්නේ නැහැ. හැබැයි අනිත් sections 9ම කොමාරි කරනවා. තව තව extra දවස් දාලා බය වෙන්න එපා. Right? Okay. හරි මම දැම්ම කියන්නම්. So it will be on Sunday. The coming Sunday. That means 16, no? Anyway, Sunday, right? Sunday 7 to 9:30, the last day. So I will complete the paper somehow on that day, right? Up to question number 9, we'll do it. Don't worry. Bye, Window. Okay, let's go for the next part. Oh, Rajapaksha Mahathya Villa. Right, next one. Explain why a perfectly competitive market faces a normal demand curve while a perfectly competitive firm faces perfectly elastic demand curve. Right? Then make it the negative make a penny. Right? Is it true? Yes, it's true. We see the diagram. In a graphic. Right? This is a perfectly competitive market. You know, in a perfectly competitive market, demand supply curves are normal in the market. This is a market. So assume this market is something like, say, it's a vegetable market. Then the price of this vegetable is 100 rupees. Kilogram rupiah CI market price. Right? Market price is 100 rupees. So keep remember, in a perfectly competitive market, market demand curve is normal. Can I say why? Can you send me why the demand curve is normal in perfect competition? Why this demand curve is normal? Not that answer came. Why this demand curve is normal? Price taker neme, that's a completely different. Tamane. Homogeneous product, M&MA. Because this is a demand curve where the consumers are normally behaving as per the law of demand. The market. Right? Market demand curve is normal because of the law of demand. That means due to income effect and substitution effect. So this section is combining unit number 2, knowledge, and unit number 4, knowledge. Right? The demand curve is normal. Why? Because law of demand. That means due to income effect and substitution effect. Normal demand supply theories are here for the market. For the market. Market take it. Now let's look at the firm. As I told you, this is assumed this is a market for vegetable. And there's a farmer who supplies this vegetable. And this farmer supplies this vegetable at 100 rupees. And people buy 250 kilograms. Say assume demand quantity is 250. Right? The price is 100 rupees. When the price is 100 rupees, people buy 250 kilogram of vegetable from this seller. From this seller. Now, this seller, this farmer says, my price is 110. Mr. Lakina, my price is 110. Right? Or a seller says, sorry. මොකද සෙලා කියනවා මගේ වට්ටක්ක රුපියල් 110. කවුද කන්නේ යාගේ වට්ටක්ක? නේ. Because consumers know that the same vegetable is available in all the other sellers with at 100 rupee. මෙයා කියන මෙයාගේ වට්ටක්ක 110. අපි කියන ඔයාගේ වට්ටක්ක අපි දෙයයි අපි ඔයාගේ වට්ටක්ක ගන්නෑ. So who will buy product from this farmer? No one will buy. Because in perfect competition, we know that consumers have what? Perfect knowledge. Consumers know everything. So consumer රුපියල් 110ට වට්ටක්ක කන්නේ නැහැ. එයාට perfect knowledge එක තියෙනවා. එයා දන්නවා අනිත් අයගේ වට්ටක්ක රුපියල් 100යි කියලා. හරි? සමහර විට ඕගොල්ලෝ මාකට් එකට ගියොත් එimhe රුපියල් 11000ට වට්ටක්ක ගේන්න පුළුවන්. Because you don't have perfect knowledge. But when your father goes to the market to buy vegetable, your father never pay 110. Right? Because father knows about the market. The mother knows about the market. අම්මා කවදාවත් රුපියල් 110ට වට්ටක්ක ගන්නේ නැහැ මෙයාගෙන්. වෙන තැනකින් රුපියල් 100ට වට්ටක්ක ගන්නවා. ඒ නිසා මේ සෙලර්ට රුපියල් 110ට වට්ටක්ක විකුණන හම්බ වෙන්නේ නැහැ. People don't buy. So if the price is 110, demand quantity comes down to 0. No demand. No demand. Seller cannot sell the product. That means consumer is willing to pay only which price? Consumer is willing to pay only 100 rupee. Why? Because perfect knowledge. Perfect knowledge. Consumer know everything about the market. Anything and everything about the market. That is why demand curve faced by a perfectly competitive firm is perfectly elastic. ඔන්න කතාව. ඔය කතාව තමයි ලියන්නේ. Right? හරි. question එකක් තියෙනවා මේ answers ටික වන්න කියලා. නෑ answers එවන්න videos ටික බලන්න. You can I'm reading the answers all. I can't type it again and send. So you can watch the videos. They are in the YouTube. Then you can rewrite the answers, so you can correct them the answers. Then when you are looking at the videos, you can again remind the theories and go through. All the videos are in the YouTube, right? Last two videos in mine and the other subjects also, you can refer them later on. So I can type it again and send it to you, right? Okay, but the idea, right? Yeah. graph එක නම් අත්‍යවශ්‍යම නෑ. මම graph එක දෙනවා දන්නේ නැතිවට පතක තියා ගන්න. right. යන්න. It is given below. Is given below. Demand and supply curves. Demand and supply curves of a perfectly competitive market and the demand curve faced by a perfectly competitive firm Right. Draw the graph. මේ graph එකේ connection එක තියෙනවා. ඒ කියන්නේ පළවෙනි graph එකේ P1 කියන price එක යන්න ඕන. Here P1 should go to the second graph. Second graph demand curve is at this P1. Perfect elastic at this P1. මේ විදිහටම graph එක අඳින්න. Right. Right. The videos තියෙන්නේ JMC YouTube channel එකේ. මම chat box එකේ ඉන්නේ. මට chats දාන්න මගේ mic එක on වෙලා තියෙන මේ නම් අනිත් එකට දාන්න එපා. ගමන් screen එක විතරයි බලන්නේ. මම දැන් message එකක් දාන්නම් ඒකට දාන්න chat. Yeah, this one, yes. Firm එක supply curve කියන්නේ normal නා. The perfect competitive firm supply curve is normal. Normal supply curve. ඒක එච්චර වැදගත්කමක් නැහැ. That's why we don't discuss it about. Because we are discussing it now. The supply curve කියන්නේ අර marginal cost curve එකේ ඉර ටිකනේ. මතකනේ? Really supply curve means the upper part of the MC curve. So we are studying it separately. Remember, this is the supply curve. That means normal supply curve. Right, write down the note. According to the above diagrams, according to the above diagrams, a perfectly competitive market has a normal demand curve. A normal demand curve. This means market demand curve is based on market demand curve is based on market demand curve is based on law of demand. Law of demand. The reasons for law of demand are the reasons for law of demand are income effect and substitution effect. Income effect and substitution effect. Nipara. A perfectly competitive firm face. A perfectly competitive firm face. A perfectly elastic demand curve. A perfectly elastic demand curve. The perfect knowledge. Due to the perfect knowledge. ඒ වාක්‍ය highlight කරගන්න. Keep remember the firm demand curve is perfect elastic not because of price taker. Price taker කියන කතාව නෙවෙයි අදාළ වෙන්නේ. Perfect knowledge කියන argument එක. Right? Due to perfect knowledge. Highlight that sentence, very important idea. Consumers are willing to pay. Consumers are willing to pay only a fixed price. Within bracket, P1 bar. In perfect competition. Therefore, demand curve is perfectly elastic. Perfectly elastic. Perfect knowledge means consumers have all the information about the market. Consumers have all the information about the market. Krishna kahala තියෙනවා. What happened if they sell below the equilibrium price? People will buy. Don't worry, people will buy whatever they supply. Whatever they supply. ඒකනේ perfectly elastic කියලා කියන්නේ. price එක අඩු කරත් demand quantity infinitely වැඩි වෙනවා. සපයන ඕන ප්‍රමාණය මිනිස්සු ගන්නවා. low price එකකට. Homogeneous products supply only a small portion out of the market won't come. They come, right? The perfect knowledge කියන්නේ මොකක්ද? Perfect knowledge means consumers know that product is homogeneous. Consumers know that there are large number of sellers. Consumers know that each and every seller supply at the market price. That means the perfect knowledge idea summarize everything. Right? Perfect knowledge කියලා කියන්නේ ඒ consumer හැමදාම දන්නවා කියන එක. මොනවද දන්නේ? Consumer know that product is homogeneous. Consumer know that there are a large number of sellers in the market. Right? Very. So perfect knowledge කියලා කිව්වා මේ ඔක්කොම අන්තර්ගතයි. අය වෙනම කියන්න ඕනේ. Right, okay. Let's go for the next one. How does a monopoly firm continue its monopoly status even in a market economic system? Right? මේක action එක මේ අහන්න හේතුව තමයි මේකේ logic එකක් තියෙනවා. Because you know, in a market economic system, there are large number of sellers. There are large number of private firms in the market economic system, right? But even though in the market economic system, there are some monopoly markets. That's the point, right? Even though in a market economic system, there are some monopoly markets. Normally in a market economic system, markets are perfectly competitive because market economic system, there are large number of private sector entrepreneurs, private sector firms, right? So therefore, in a market economic system, most probably, most of the markets are perfectly competitive. But even in a market economic system, there can be monopoly firms. Econ. You know, to create a monopoly market, the compulsory condition is what? Barriers to entry. Barriers to entry. Even though in a market economic system, sometimes there are some markets with barriers to entry. What do you mean by barriers to entry? There are some factors where new firms cannot enter the market. Barriers to entry comes in two types called natural barriers and artificial barriers. This section mainly focuses on barriers to entry. Barriers to entry කියන කතාව හැබැයි ටිකක් වක්‍රාකාරයකට. Natural barriers comes in basically economies of scale and the natural resources. Economies of scale is another idea. That means when a firm is in the market for a long period of time, they can have benefits called economies of scale. Natural resources, good example, you know that Middle East countries, they control the oil market, right? So how do they get that ability to control the oil market? Because they have the natural resource, right? And the artificial barriers, capital requirement, that means there are some industries which need a huge amount of capital. Without that capital, some businesses cannot be started on. Technological factors, some productions need high technology. Sometimes they cannot be copied. So then existing firms can continue monopoly status. Legal factors. Very good example, if we take in Sri Lanka, tobacco market is under the monopoly of the tobacco company because of the legal factor. That matter cannot be changed. That means forever in Sri Lanka, cigarette and other tobacco markets, tobacco products will be under the monopoly. Deliberate actions means the existing firms do not allow anyone to come to the market. Right? When a new firm comes to the market, they are blocked by existing firms. Deliberate actions. So even in a market economic system, there can be a monopoly because of these factors. Right? Because of these factors. So therefore, keep remember, monopoly can be even in a market economic system if there are barriers to entry. Right, write down. There are there are large number of private sector entrepreneurs in a market economic system. Therefore, most of the markets are competitive in a market economic system. However, there can be monopoly markets even in a market economic system. Due to barriers to entry. Barriers to entry means the factors that prevent new firms entering into a market. Status can be maintained. Monopoly status can be maintained with the barriers to entry. Even in a market economic system. Barriers to entry can be created by the number of factors. They can be classified into two groups as given below. Write down these natural barriers economies of scale and control of natural resources. They are still negative. Natural barriers, artificial barriers, write down subcomponents. Answer එකක් කියලා තියෙනවා මම කියවනේ monopoly brand goodwill your business so economics you have to write the direct theories remember when you say barriers to entry මේක හරියට ලියන්න ඕන right so I said you have to be familiar with the theory. Economics, you can't just write what you think, what you feel, what you know, the others. Direct theories. In business studies, you can write something, say your business knowledge, but not in economics. Oligopoly also has barriers to entry. Yes, same barriers can be identified for oligopoly also. Okay, right? Question number 5. Five is focusing unit number 5 and 6 combining, right? First part is a calculation. Question number 5 and 6 basically focusing on calculations. Theories also are there, but you have to be familiar with mainly calculations in question number 5 and 6. MCQs also will be concerning calculations. And the second paper also definitely will come a calculation. Look at the question given. In this question, I summarize all these 3 methods of calculating national income. I prepare this question to gain you how to calculate national income under all 3 methods: production method, income method, and expenditure method. Right? You are given all the data regarding production method, regarding income method, and regarding expenditure method. But most probably in the exam, final exam will be given 1 method, maximum 2 methods. But I put this question all 3 methods because to summarize all 3 methods. Okay, to answer this question, to do this calculation, you need how to calculate GDP using different methods. That's the key knowledge of the unit number 5. National Income Accounting chapter, mainly focusing on how to calculate national income under these 3 methods. I'll summarize the theory first. You can see question asks about GDP under production method, GDP under expenditure method, GDP under income method. That means you should know how to calculate GDP under these methods. Production method. How to calculate GDP under production method? What do? We add agriculture sector gross value addition, industrial sector gross value addition, service sector gross value addition, The total is called as gross value addition at basic price. And we added net taxes on products equals to GDP market price. This is a production method. Right? අපි මාස දෙකක් විතර තියරි වල ඉගෙන ගන්න ඕක තමයි. Production method එක අඩු ගන්න දවස් දෙකක් අත් කරනවා නෙවෙයි. ඒක තමයි summary. Then expenditure method. What do we do? Private consumption expenditure, public consumption expenditure added, investment expenditure added, net export expenditure added, GDP. On expenditure method. Then income method, compensation of employees, gross operating surplus, mixed income, net other taxes on production equals gross value added at basic price, add net taxes on product or net indirect tax equals GDP. On the methods තුන. මේ තමයි Unit 5 chapter එකේ 50%. 50% මෙතන තියෙනවා. You can remember these three charts, so you can do the sum. තව පොඩි පොඩි දේවල් දැනගන්න තියෙන්නේ. The rest of the knowledge is very less, but this is the key knowledge of the unit number 5. Right? Screenshot එකක් දාගන්න අවශ්‍යයි කියලා හිතනවා නම් අත්‍යවශ්‍යයි. Right? I think you could have learned this in your theory classes and all, but this summary, I don't think that you have got from any other place. Right? This knowledge is must for you to do the calculation. Right? බලමු නේ screenshot එකක් දාගන්න. නැත්නම් පස්සේ presentation එක බලලා ලියා ගන්න. Video එක බලලා ලියා ගන්න. Right. Here, look at the values. අපේ values ටික බලමු දීලා තියෙන. First one is cross value addition basic price. Agriculture, non-agriculture sector. This one, to calculate GDP under production method. Within production method values, when agriculture sector, industrial sector, service, and production method data. Within expenditure method, final consumption expenditure, investment expenditure, net export, that's expenditure method data. The income method within compensation of employees, gross operating surplus, right? And then mixed income. If you are given gross operating surplus, no need to add mixed income, right? Then production taxes are given, net other taxes on production, and the income method data. Okay, then what you have to do? First one, question 1, GDP under production method. You add GVA agriculture, GVA industry, GVA service plus NIT. GDP value is 7,000 billion. Right. Write down answer for part 1. Question A, part 1. Mixed income is in, okay, I'll come to that. Wait. So if you are given this all method, it is easy because you can check the answer. Whatever the method, GDP value should be same. right? Transfers are not taking into account how the transfers gannawa kiyala kiwwe. Remember, none of the transfers are taken into account in GDP calculation. Transfers are not productive transactions. Right. Okay. Then second one, expenditure method. C plus G plus I plus NX. C plus G plus I plus NX. But C plus G. C plus G is given together as total consumption expenditure. In final consumption expenditure, 4,000 third second item. That is the C plus G, right? The C plus G 4,000, investment 2,000, and next 1,000, GDP 7,000. Right, do it. සමහර questions තියා බලන්න ඔයගොල්ලෝ කවදාවත් national income අහලවත් නැහැ වගේ questions දාන්න සමහර ඒවා. Huh? That's a expenditure method. Okay, right. Then income method. Right? So keep remember, if the gross operating surplus is given, this is what you have to keep remember. This gross operating surplus includes 3 items. What are they? එදින කොටස් තුනක් තියෙනවා. එකක් තමයි net operating surplus. Right? The other one is CFC, consumption of fixed capital. The other one is mixed income. The operating surplus කියලා කියන්නේ මෙන්න මේ දෙන්නට NOS and CFC තමයි operating surplus on a structure එක. Right? GOS includes net operating surplus, CFC and mixed income. Right? So operating surplus includes NOS and CFC. What's right? So GOS වල operating surplus තියෙනවා, mixed income තියෙනවා. Right? Answer is 7,000. NOS means net operating surplus. CFC means consumption of fixed capital. OS means operating surplus. MI means mixed income. GOS means gross operating surplus. Right. That's how we calculate GDP under these 3 methods. Next one, gross national disposable income. Disposable gross national. මේ තමයි ආර්ථිකයක් සතුව තියෙන ඔක්කොම සල්ලි ටික. The total money where a country has. So what do? To the GDP, we add NPI. When we add NPI to the GDP, you get GNI. GDP plus NPI තමයි අපි earn කරලා තියෙන සල්ලි ටික. What the money we have earned. NSI is money that we have received. As a country, you know that we get some transfers from other countries. When you add them, you get the total money that a country has called gross national disposable income or disposable gross national income. Right, okay, do it. Part 4. NPI is net primary income, NSI net secondary income. Net primary income means the difference between primary income receipts and primary income payments. Net secondary income means difference between secondary income receipts and secondary income payments. Okay. Someone has a previous slide. I'll show it again, all the calculations. Look at again. This is first one, production method. The second one, expenditure method. This is, okay, next one, income method. Then fourth one, gross national disposable income. Shushanakana, personal income and disposable personal income. To calculate personal income, there are 7 adjustments, right? Personal income and adjustments hatak tiyana. Ekata පැය භාගයක් යනවා කියලාද? Right? Disposable personal income හොයන්න නම් ලේසි. So disposable personal income. මේක action එකේ නෑ. Disposable personal income equals personal income minus personal direct taxes. Hari? So national income ඉඳලා personal income එකට එන එක ටිකක් දිග කතාවක්. ඒකට adjustments 7ක් තියෙනවා. 7 adjustments are there. Right? ඒක දැන් කරන්න බෑ. Equation එක මෙන්න equation එක DPI හොයන. Disposable personal income equals personal income minus personal direct taxes. Right. Next one. National income is always higher than personal income. Selection එකක් ඇවි. අන්න ඒකේ answer එක ටිකක් තියෙනවා මෙතන. National income is always higher than personal income. මෙතන තියෙනවා section එකේ answer එක. එවන section එක personal income and national income. මෙන්න section එක. Right? National income is not always higher than personal income. National income sometimes can be lower than personal income or higher than personal income. So, අපට අමතක වුණා section එක තියෙන answer එක තියෙනවා සම්පූර්ණයෙන් බලන්න. This is how we go to personal income starting from national income. So what do? There are something, remember, which are not in national income but comes to our hand. Very good example, transfers. When the government give transfers, remember transfers are not in national income but they are in our hands. Personal income means money in our hand. Money where the people has in their hands. So therefore, when you calculate personal income, we have to add items which are not in national income. These are the items. Number one, government transfers to households. Government transfers to households. Because transfers are not in national income, but they come to our hand. Number two, foreign private transfers. Transfers we are getting from the other countries called net private secondary income. Secondary income, but on the private part, because secondary income has two parts, public, private. Public goes to government, private comes to our hands. So net private secondary income, or we call net private current transfers added. And the other one is interest income on government debts. For example, when you invest on a treasury bill or a treasury bond, you get interest. That interest income is not in GDP, but it comes to your hand. When adjustments tunak, adding items tunak. Deducting items hatarak tiyena. Undivided profit. Because they are in the companies, they don't come to our hands. Next, corporate income tax. Income tax goes to the government. It doesn't come to our hands. Government property income or rent income of the government. For example, if you take in our country, all the lands of city areas are owned by the Urban Development Authority. So therefore, the rent income of the shops in the urban areas, city areas, come into the government, right? The next one is social security contributions. So this is how we convert national income into personal income. Okay, screenshot එකක් දාගන්න මම answer එකට ඔය items හත දෙනවා. හැබැයි chart එක මතක තියාගන්න please. Right? හරි. යන්න answer එක. චන ගන්නේ not agreed. ලියන්න not agreed. Not agreed. Personal income can be higher than national income. Personal income can be higher than national income. Due to the following factors. Write down these three items. Point form එක ලියන්න. Number 11 කියලා තියෙන්නේ. Point form එක ලියන්න. Second, third. ඔයාලට මතක තියාගන්න ඕන items. For personal income in household income, yes, true. Right? Personal income equals household income. Right, new para. personal income is lower than national income due to the following factors. Due to the following factors. Yan items 4. Okay, write down. In conclusion, personal income can be higher than or lower than national income. Due to the reasons given above. Personal income can be higher than or lower than national income due to the reasons given above. Question එකක් අහලා දිනවා මම ඉස්සෙල්ලා පැහැදිලි කරා මේක. Disposable personal income කියලා කියන්නේ disposable personal income means personal income minus personal direct taxes. Right? අපි personal income හෙව්වනේ. ඒ personal income වලින් personal direct taxes අඩු කරාම තමයි disposable personal income. So disposable personal income and personal income differ. There's a difference. The difference is personal direct taxes. That means taxes that we pay to the government directly out of our income and assets, wealth, those factors. Direct taxes. Hari? Right. Okay. Next one. You are given some transactions. මේකත් සාමාන්‍යයෙන් common question එකක්. ගොඩක් වෙලාවට මේ හැමදාම වගේ අහනවා මේ question එක. You are given some transactions. You are supposed to decide whether they are in national income or not. Right? They are in national income or not. First one, government expenditure to produce Ayurvedic medicine for COVID-19 patient. Now, you know, government is Ayurvedic department. They are producing nowadays the Ayurvedic medicine and they are given to the families who are affected by corona. Right? Make it ගොඩක් වෙලාවට ඔය the වගේ current issues දානවා. Section එකේ. Right? So should identify whether this given transaction is in national income or not. Right? So this is a government expenditure to produce a certain commodity to be given to the people. So therefore, this comes in national income. That's a production of a certain good, Ayurvedic or whatever it is, right? It's a production of a good, so therefore it comes in GDP, right? A production boundary comes in production boundary and GDP. Yeah, no, first one. See, first one, included in GDP. Included in GDP. It is a production of a commodity. It is a production of a commodity. It comes under production boundary. It comes under production boundary. Right. Next one. Free seminar conducted by Jayasekara Management Center to advanced level students. This seminar. That means the education that I am giving you now. Does it go to GDP? The education service that you are enjoying now from me. No, very good. No. Why? Because these are kind of free service we are giving to you. As it is a free service, there's no really economic transaction taken place here. Right? Transfers are not in GDP. Private transfers here. Private transfers. Right. Write down. Second one, not included in GDP. So if it is charges, අපි ඔයගොල්ලන්ගෙන් charge එකක් ගත්තා නම් ඒක යනවා GDP වලට. මොකද කරන්නේ නේ? Yeah, not included in GDP. As it is a transfer, it is not coming under production boundary. Therefore, it is not included in GDP. It is not included in GDP. Third one, a village family use river water for consumption purpose. What do you feel? Yes or no? Can you send me the answers? One, two, three, four, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Others go. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 20. Right. Answers තියෙනවා 30ක් විතර. පැයකින් 5ක් 6ක් විතර තමයි හරි. Most of you are saying no. But remember, this is included in. What's the argument? Once a natural resource is acquired by the people, it becomes a production. Once a natural resource is acquired by the people, it becomes a production. Keep it thoroughly in your mind. स्वाभाविक සම්පතක් ලෙස තියනකම් පත්පත් කරගත්ත ගමන් GDP වලට එනවා. Right? Got it? You might feel how we calculate. Yeah, there are different issues. There are different issues. Right? There are methods introduced by United Nations how to calculate them. Methods දීලා තියෙනවා මෙන්න මෙහෙම කරන්න කියලා. Right? We are still getting them implemented. But remember, each and every natural resource acquired by the people should be counted. Very good example, fish, fishing industry. Again, a simple example like හැමදාම මාළුවෙක් මූදේ ඉන්නකම් GDP වල නැහැ. මාළුවව අල්ලගත්ත ගමන් GDP වලට එනවා. සරල උදාහරණයක්. මම දියාගන්න. ඒ වගේ තමයි. When the people acquire any natural resource, taking water from a river, taking water from a well, each and every water drop taken from a river should be calculated, should be measured. Difficult, that's true, difficult. Right? Difficult තමයි. අමාරුයි. අමාරුනට කරන්න ඕන. Okay, write down. Included in GDP. Included in GDP. Once a natural resource is acquired by the people, it should be counted in GDP. Right, there's a question asking consuming rainwater. Yes, if you use rainwater for the consumption purpose, control. If you use rainwater for cultivation purpose, yes, that has to be calculated. Next one, 10 million investment on a debenture. Do we take this into account? You want to answer a debenture investment. Yes, no, yes. Transactions on any financial asset is not in GDP. Manavada. Deposit money in a bank, treasury bills and treasury bond investment, commercial papers, debentures, shares, unit trust, or kisi deyak GDP wala nahi. What අපි කියනවා? Transactions on financial assets here. Right? You go to a bank and deposit money. You invest on a treasury bill, treasury bond. You invest on a debenture, unit trust. You buy shares of a company. They are not in. Keep remember. Right? Not included in transactions on financial assets. Transactions on financial assets are not counted in GDP. Next one. Interest paid by an individual to a bank for using credit card. You use credit card and you have to pay interest for using credit card because you are getting a loan simply. Right. Do we? Yes, yes. Do we? Hanggarevan. Tamatra yavi. Yes, yes, no, 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 yes, yes. 50-50% තියෙනවා. Yes, yes, 50-50% තියෙනවා. Remember, this is not in. So there are two types of interest which are not in GDP. පොලි වර්ග දෙකක් තියෙනවා GDP වල නැති. එකක් තමයි when you invest on a treasury bill or treasury bond and you get interest, that is not in GDP. And the people borrow money for consumption purpose and pay interest, that's not in GDP. Other than these two interests, any other interest is in GDP. Right? පොලි වර්ග දෙකයි GDP වල නැත්තේ. ඒ පොලි වර්ග දෙක හැර වෙන ඕනෑම පොලියක් GDP වල තියෙනවා. When a businessman borrow money for the business and pay interest, that is in GDP. If you borrow money to build up a house, you pay interest, that is in GDP. But if you borrow money for consumption purpose and you pay interest, that's not in GDP. Right? Write down. Not included in GDP. Not included in GDP. Interest paid on consumer loans. Interest paid on consumer loans are not counted in GDP. Interest paid on consumer loans are not counted in GDP. Credit card is a consumer loan. Credit card is a consumer loan. Right, next one, income of an ice cream seller. Do we consider? Yes, this is what we include under mixed income. Under the income method, we consider as mixed income. Yes, this is concerned. Yes, write down. Included in GDP. Included in GDP. This is a part of, continue, this is a part of mixed income. This is a part of mixed income. Which is included in GDP. Self-employment income කියන්නේ එක පරණ වචනයක්. අලුත් වචනේ තමයි mixed income. Right? Self-employment income කියන එක තිබේ පරණ system එකේ. ඒක 2013ට පෙර. Right? පරණ system එකේ. මේ පරණ සර් කෙනෙක් දෙන්න ඒක අමතක කරලා දාන්න. අලුත් වචනේ තමයි mixed income. Next. A carpenter produced a chair for the family use. Right? A carpenter produces a chair of family use. Yes, the no the kiyala. No, 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 yes, no, no. Yes, no. Yes, no, yes, no. 50%, 50% තියනවා එතනත්. Yes. මට අපි කියන household productions කියලා. Producing something for own final consumption. තමන්ගේ පරිභෝජනයට භාණ්ඩයක් නිෂ්පාදනය කරගත්තොත් ඒක GDP වල අන්තර්ගත වෙන්න ඕන. We call them as household productions. Right? Write down. Included in GDP. Included in GDP. This is a household production. This is a household production. All household productions are included in GDP. Right. Next one, money paid by a boy for using the service of a fitness center. Right? Gym gilla given a salary. Do you? Yes, yes. What's the argument? You are getting a service, you pay. Right, yes, no issue. Then, included. It is a payment for. It is a payment for utilizing a service. Within bracket, paid service, or begin a paid service. Yeah, paid service. Paid service. All paid services are included in GDP. Right. Look at next section. This is from unit number 6. Explain why an economy might be in equilibrium at less than a full employment level. That means economy can be equilibrium less than full employment level. Output. And critically evaluate alternative fiscal policy measures which might be used to move the economy to the full employment level. Okay, key point එක තමයි the equilibrium can happen with unemployment, right? Equilibrium can happen with unemployment. So this question you need the diagram definitely. So assume this is the full employment level. Economy is at point A, right? Assume due to some reason the aggregate demand or expenditure of the economy comes down. So demand for goods and services come down. Now any economy nowadays is in Y1 level. Unemployment. But remember point B is an equilibrium, right? So equilibrium can happen even with unemployment. That's an important point. Equilibrium can be සිද්ධ වෙන්න පුළුවන් unemployment level එකේ. Full employment වෙන්න ඕනේ. Right? So basically මේ diagram එක පැහැදිලි කරන්න ඕනේ. You have to say that this is equilibrium and equilibrium can happen less than full employment level. That means unemployment. ඊට පස්සේ කියනවා how can economy bring back to EF level? An alternative question asks fiscal policy measures. What do you mean by fiscal policies? That means to bring this economy back, right? What can the government do? Government can implement two policies, basically increasing government expenditure or reducing tax. And the fiscal policies they now because of the COVID-19 issue, unemployment has been created. A lot of people have lost their jobs. Three-wheel drivers, right? Lot of traders. So government cannot fully recover it. But government has done something. What is it? Can you tell me? The fiscal policy measures that the Sri Lankan government used in recent past to restore our expenditure. Taxes reduce කරේ නෑ. අන්න හරි. 5,000 කියලා දුන්නේ 5,000ක් දුන්නේ. දැන් 2,000ක් දෙන්නේ. අන්න ඒක තමයි. Government expenditure. රජය වේදම් කරනවා. දැන් මිනිස්සුන්ගේ අතර සල්ලි යනවා. මිනිස්සු 5,000 සේව් කරලා තියන්නේ නැහනේ. 5,000න් බාන්න බෙලෙනවා. ඇග්‍රීගේට් ඩිමාන්ඩ් වැඩි වෙනවා. 5,000 දෙන්න නිකන් ඔය දෙනව නෙමෙයි. That's one of the economic policy. Right? No one else can help the economy now. Only the government can help. Okay. But remember, when the government expenditure increase and the tax decrease, whether get podi වෙනසක් තියෙනවා. Which one is more effective? Increasing government expenditure is more effective than reducing tax. Tax අඩු කරනවට වඩා because it has direct impact than the tax. Tax has indirect impact. Multiplier, remember multiplier. Government expenditure multiplier is higher than tax multiplier. Then simply go. When the government gives this 5,000 rupee to the people, what happened? People spend those money on the same day. So impact is very quick, very short term, few hours. But if the tax reduce, sometimes it takes more months to come to the result. Right? Okay. Draw the diagram. We'll start with the diagram. This gap is called as deflationary gap, because there is unemployment or deflation. Inflation gap එකක් තියෙන මේ පැත්තට වෙන්නේ. කියන්නේ we should go beyond the full employment level. So this question is focused on deflationary gap, not inflationary gap. This is a deflationary gap. Because actual output is less than potential output. Right, write down. As given above, point A is the initial equilibrium level of the economy. point A is the initial equilibrium level of the economy. Assume economy is at full employment level. Economy is at full employment level at point A. YF is national income at full employment level. National income at full employment level. There is no unemployment at YF. There is no unemployment at YF. Assume expenditure of this economy. Assume expenditure of this economy decreases to E1. Decreases to E1. National income decreases to Y1. New equilibrium is point B. New equilibrium is point B. It is an equilibrium with an unemployment. It is an equilibrium with an unemployment. This means economy can be at an equilibrium with unemployment. Economy can be at an equilibrium with unemployment. Nipara. There are two fiscal policy measures. There are two fiscal policy measures that the government can practice to bring the economy to the full employment level. They are Utakama. First point, increasing government expenditure. Increasing government expenditure. Second point, decreasing tax. Decreasing tax. Nipara. However, government expenditure is more effective than the tax. Government expenditure is more effective than the tax. In other words, government expenditure has a greater multiplier effect than the tax. Tax has an indirect impact to the aggregate demand. Tax has an indirect impact to the aggregate demand through consumption. However, government expenditure has a direct impact to the aggregate demand. Question, tax, only income tax? No, even indirect tax can be used. When the indirect tax is reduced, again, people can buy more good. Their real income is increased. Indirect tax adu karama, the bond වල මිල අඩු වෙනවා. The real income එක වැඩි වෙනවා. අතර බාණ්ඩ මිනිස්සුන්ට බාණ්ඩ වැඩි කරගන්න පුළුවන්. The demand is increased. Aggregate demand is increased. Right? You can commonly say tax. No need to specify. When you are writing answers, long answers, You are writing answer regarding GDP කියලා. අර ඒ answer එක පටන් ගන්නකොට complete word එක ලියන්න. ඊට පස්සේ short form එක use කරන්න පුළුවන්, right? But don't start the answer with the short form. Right, okay, next one. Explain the concept of output gap using the Keynesian cross diagram. So this is, I put just to remind you the concepts called output gap. Output gap concept can come in different chapters, say unit number 5. It can come with the business cycle, and even PPC it can, and unit number 11 with the aggregate demand, aggregate supply it can come. Here they specifically say, explain the concept of output gap using the Keynesian cost diagram. So you have to present using Keynesian cost diagram the output gap, right? So assume this is the full employment level. In the full employment level, no output gap. So output gap is a difference between actual output and potential output. Here, actual output equals potential output. So there is no output gap here. Assume in this economy, due to some reason, expenditure increases, aggregate demand increases, right? Aggregate demand increases. Now you can see actual output is by 2. Now actual output is 10, potential output gap. Output is higher than potential output. We call positive output gap. Assume aggregate demand of this economy comes down due to some reason up to E1. Now actual output is Y1 at point B. Now actual output is less than potential output. This is called negative output gap. This is how we can present all 3 output gaps. At point A, output gap is 0. At point C, output gap is positive. At point B, output gap is negative. Right. Write down. Output gap is the difference between actual output and potential output. There are 3 output gaps called zero output gap, put a comma, positive output gap, and negative output gap. It is given below. These 3 output gaps in the Keynesian cross diagram. Right, draw the diagram. Stock accumulation ගැන කියන්න අත්‍යවශ්‍ය නැහැ. ඒක ගැන අවුත් කියන්න පුළුවන්. Otherwise, you can just mention about the output gap. Okay. Cycle is a different diagram. Business cycle comes like this. This is a Keynesian cost diagram. Business cycle is this. හරි මේ තියෙන Keynesian cost diagram එක. So before doing MCQ paper, I have to finish this one now because once I start, I have to finish it. I can't do it partly. So we'll finish this and see. First, I should finish this one. Business cycle, same logic tamai, but the way it is presented is different. Now, when you go to business cycle, the business cycle diagram, the idea comes like this. A good example. Here, positive output gap. This positive output gap. And this is negative output gap. Here, zero gap. So the question again, if they ask present output gaps using business cycle, then you have to use it. But the question again specify if not, you can use any diagram to explain. Right, write down. Gap is zero, output gap is zero, output gap is the situation where actual output equals to potential output. According to the above diagram, output gap is zero. Output gap is zero. If the economy is at point A, if the economy is at point A. Positive gaps, the situation where actual output is higher than potential output. According to the above diagram, there is according to the above diagram, there is a positive output gap there is a positive output gap when the economy is at point C. When the economy is at point C. The difference between Y2 and YF. The difference between Y2 and YF is the positive output gap. Negative output gap means the situation where actual potential output according to the above diagram, there is a negative output gap at point B. At point B. The negative output gap is YF2 Y1 by F2 Y1. Right. Question number 6. Should be 6, sorry. Question number 6. Explain the relationships between number 1, interest rate of a treasury bill and money demand, income and money demand. Discussion focused on money demand and determinants of money demand. We know that money demand has 3 components. People demand money basically for 3 purposes. So money demand has 3 components. What are they? Transaction demand for money, precautionary demand for money, and speculative demand for money. MT means transaction demand for money. MP means precautionary demand for money. MSP means speculative demand for money. The transaction and precautionary demand for money depends on income. But a speculative demand for money depends on interest rate. Right? So therefore we can say finally, money demand of a country is a function of interest rate and income. Money demand is changed by interest rate and income. Income and money demand has a positive relationship. Why is that? When we get more money, when we get more income, we keep more money in our hand for one, transaction purpose and precautionary purpose. People who are having higher income keep more money in their hands to do transactions. But interest rate and money demand has a negative relationship. Why? Because the interest rate is comparatively low. People do not invest their money. So therefore, interest rate and money demand has a negative relationship. This is very important, this figure, right? Sometimes they ask MCQ based on this idea. Relationship between money demand and interest rate, relationship between money demand and income. Keep it remember well. Money demand and interest rate has a negative relationship due to the speculative demand for money. Money demand and income has a positive relationship due to transaction and precautionary demand for money. Right, write down part 1. A, question number 6A, part 1. There is a negative relationship between interest rate of bonds and money demand. Due to speculative demand for money. Due to speculative demand for money. Speculators do not purchase bonds. Speculators do not purchase bonds. rate is low. Expect that interest rate will be high in future. Therefore, they keep money. Therefore, they keep money in their hands. To be invested in future. This is called speculative demand for money. Right, then part two, second part. There is a positive relationship between income and money demand. Due to transaction and precautionary demand for money. Due to transaction and precautionary demand for money. People keep more money in their hands. People keep more money in their hands. For the transaction purpose and for the precautionary purpose. When they have more income. When they have more income. This means transaction demand for money and are positively related with income. Are positively related with income. Right. Now, sometimes you ask me to repeat certain things, but I did always, all the sentences I did 2 times, sometimes 3 times. So if you have any issue regarding the note, please refer the videos, then you can, again, you can watch the explanation and complete the note. Right? Question එකක් අහලා තිනවා, speculators do not purchase bond when interest rate is low. Now good example, think about you. So do you like to invest your money when the interest rate is high or low? The interest rate is low, you don't invest your money. You keep in your money in your hand. So money demand is high. Right? The interest rate is low. You don't invest your money. You keep money in your hand. So money demand is high. Right? If the interest rate is high, you invest your money. So you don't have money in your hand. Very simple argument. Right? You can imagine what's happening in the society. That's even your knowledge. You can decide what will happen depending on the current situations. Well, we can't predict anything regarding this situation as well as, in our governments. No, we can predict nothing with our governments. They are highly uncertain governments. Right. Okay. Let's stop for today. We'll be back on next that coming Sunday to complete the balance sections. Right. See you all. Good night.